As we all know, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, in which case you can't really call yourself an NBA fan, the Phoenix Suns just went all in with their current core. The new owner wasted absolutely no time in building a contender as he went out and got Kevin Durant. Now the Suns were 31-27 to that point in the season, starting to bounce back, but you get a chance to get a superstar player like KD to add to Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. The fact that he didn't have to give up any of those three is remarkable. If you get the opportunity to make a trade for a guy like that, you have to pull the trigger. He also revamped the bench a little bit. Nice little TJ Warren jersey swap I did there. Been working on that for a while. Terrence Ross and Darius Bazley both coming over. Ross via the buyout market and then Bazley via trade. So we're going to be talking all about the Suns and their title chances today. So make sure to like button and leave me a comment, as well as sticking around for the full video as it really helps out in the YouTube algorithm. Now let's go ahead and get started looking at the huge moves made. The new regime, they have decided it's time to go all in on this core three of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton before their time ends with Chris Paul as he is aging and starting to regress. The KD move essentially was Kevin Durant in exchange for two young wings, Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. Losing Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges will hurt. We'll dive deeper into that later in the video. But like I said, you get a chance to trade for Kevin Durant. You have to take that opportunity. They had to give up basically their entire draft capital for the next almost decade, half decade in the NBA. They have to give up their first round pick this year, their 2025 pick, their 2027 pick, their 2029 pick, all unprotected. And that 2028 pick is a pick swap. Loads of draft capital going to Brooklyn as they were trying to replenish their own draft capital since, it's all in Houston now from the James Harden trade. But Kevin Durant, generational player, and in the NBA, when you get your chances to have a top 15 player of all time, you have to pull the trigger. And arguably the greatest player to ever be traded at the deadline, even though he is 34. This year he's averaging 30 points per game, 6.7 rebounds, and 5.3 assists per game. Some otherworldly numbers. Even with the scoring explosion, that is just remarkable. 56% from the field and 38% from three, as well as 1.5 steals per game. Dude is on another level this year, and the Suns get to add this to Devin Booker and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. He will be reevaluated soon. Hopefully he can return to the lineup as quick as possible, because I'm really trying to see this Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton quadro. I don't even know what the word is for that. But like I said earlier, this will hurt soon. The loss of both of the wings, it'll hurt later rather than sooner, however. Cam Johnson averaging 14 points, about 4 rebounds, and an assist and a half or so per game this year. He was really starting to develop. First year as majority of the time a starter before he tore his meniscus, but he was efficient as heck. 48% from the field, 46% from three, and about a steal per game, as the fourth or fifth option. Mikal Bridges, 17.2 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, and 3.6 assists per game. And yes, I do believe the streak is still on, because he did not miss a game due to injury. It was only due to trade, and obviously you can't help that. 46% from the field, 38% from three, 1 steal, 1 block. Phenomenal defender. Both are still 26 years old, and KD is 34. So that little 8-year gap there, obviously, those two guys' offensive production combined is Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant has better efficiency. You have to make the trade for Kevin Durant, but it is going to hurt later rather than sooner. I said it wrong again. They have no picks, an aging core. They're really going to have to lean on DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker going forward, because KD is not going to be around forever. He's already had some major injuries. Chris Paul always hurt. Unfortunately, it just happens. The future of the Phoenix Suns, obviously, we already knew this, but it's DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker. Ayton this year having a very good year. 19 points per game, 10 rebounds, a couple of assists. Got that massive contract this offseason, so he's locked up for 4 years. DeAndre Ayton's locked up for a while. 60% from the field, 35% from three on 0.5 attempts, so getting that 3-point percentage up. Both of these guys playing really good basketball this year. D-Book, before he was hurt, was dominant. Now starting to come back. 26.6 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 4.4 assists. He's, like I said, been playing very well. Also, the efficiency is there. 47% from the field, 37% from three in 30 minutes per game. So adding KD to this core, I think it's going to help them out exponentially, obviously. I mean, that's not really a hot take. Now, the bench revamp is something that I was very impressed with as well. They were able to get a star player and also make their bench better at the same time, which is wild. Terrence Ross, via the buyout market, 8 points per game, 2 rebounds, 1.3 assists, obviously bought out from the Orlando Magic, and then signed with the Suns. Everybody thought he was going to the Mavericks. Then he signed with the Suns, kind of like Jay Crowder. Obviously didn't work out too well for Jay Crowder, but Terrence Ross was being held back a little bit. The numbers were not quite as good because he only played 22 minutes per game, held back by that young core trying to get all their minutes. TJ Warren, 10 points per game, a couple rebounds. He was coming back from injury, so his minutes were down this year as well. He was obviously brought in the KD trade, and he's still only 29 years old, which is something a lot of people don't know. He is still on the younger side of things. And then the final guy, Darius Bazley. I actually really like this addition, a young athletic wing. Even though he's only averaging about 5.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1 assist, for some reason he was only playing 15 minutes this year. Part of that Dario Saric swap, and 45% from the field, 40% from 3 on about an attempt and a half per game, 1 block in only 15 minutes. You leave the per 36 numbers. This guy's looking really, really good. So I like that bench overhaul there. Now, taking a look at the lineups for the rest of the year. This is what the starting cast is going to be. And honestly, how much help does Torrey Craig need? All right, all jokes aside, this is, a championship level squad. You got your alpha scorers in KD, Devin Booker. You got somewhat of a defense still in Chris Paul at the point guard spot. D-Book can play a little bit of defense. I mean, he's 6'6". He's got the length for it. Same thing with KD, who's having a better defensive season. Ayton, not really a rim protector, but he is versatile enough to play out on the perimeter. And then Torrey Craig, he's going to be the glue guy in this lineup, the hustle player. He's not going to need to go out there and drop 20 points because he's got KD and Devin Booker combining for 60 a game. And then Ayton, pinching in his 20. So I think this will be a good lineup. I think it's going to work together very well. You got a little bit of everything that you need, a little bit of each ingredient, if you will. But looking at the bench, Cam Payne, Landry Shamet, Terrence Ross, TJ Warren, and Darius Bazley. I really like this bench. I think it's very, very much upgraded from where it was before the deadline. And, you're taking away Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges from this lineup. And I think they have improved it. The bench, obviously, just by the fact that they were able to bring in TJ Warren, who can really score, Terrence Ross, who can really score, Darius Bazley, who can defend, Landry Shamet can really shoot it. We've seen Cam Payne lead this lineup off the bench. The only question mark is that center spot. Right now, maybe Bazley plays it some, but Bismack Biyombo is still on the roster, Charlotte Hornets legend, so I know what Bismack Biyombo can do. It's not fantastic, I will tell you that, but he can come in, he can give you good minutes in spurts. Chris Paul can make anybody look good. So I think this lineup will work very well for the Suns. Now, they do have a small window. They have realized that Chris Paul, he's regressing. He's 36. They have a small window to win him a ring here in Phoenix. So they've got to get it done. They made the move for KD, but KD, Chris Paul, KD's 34, not getting any younger. Chris Paul is already 36. That is my biggest concern with this deal here. Giving up so much draft capital and 2 really young wings for an aging Kevin Durant to go with the aging Chris Paul. DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, they're going to have to be leaned on here for the next 10 years just to keep him relevant so that they don't have to look like fools for giving up those picks and these 2 young wings. That's my thoughts on it. Y'all let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I think obviously short-term winner here will be Phoenix, especially if they get a championship. Anything's worth a championship in the NBA. But yeah, with that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like button and leave me a comment down below, as it'll really help us out in the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.